Welcome to a very special edition of the Sevens Club, the episode that we're calling TST Q&A with Geoff Cameron of Blade and Grass. We'll see if they make their way back into the field of 48 teams this year. Geoff, how are we doing on this fine day?
Doing brilliant, mate. Get my little English accent back because been hanging around with a few English guys in the last couple of weeks. But it's a great day. Every day's a great day, and our slogan is every day's a working day. And what are we doing right now? We're working.
We're working.
Working.
We're talking TST.
That's
I'm sure
it.
we'll talk the ground, talk a little happy Hanukkah, maybe a little later.
Happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, and Happy New Year, you filthy animals.
I love it. Geoff.
Hold on, question.
Yes.
Best Christmas movie, go. Top three.
Top three?
Yep.
All right. Elf. Nightmare Before Christmas, which also can be disguised as a Halloween movie.
Okay.
Number three. Ooh. Those are my go-to. I mean, is Home Alone a Christmas movie? Yeah, right?
Yes.
That just kind of feels like a holiday movie, not necessarily Christmas.
I mean, that's
a Christmas movie.
It's a Christmas.
Home Alone, Elf, Nightmare Before Christmas. You go.
Home Alone. I'd say Home Alone 1 and 2. So that's one, right?
That's 1.5.
Christmas Vacation. Chevy Chase.
Mm-hmm.
What a film. What a film. Say Elf for sure. Elf. There's one more I'm missing. It's gonna shoot me in the foot later. White Christmas is a great movie. Maybe it's a little too old for some of you young folks out there, but I did grow up on watching, like, in the month of December, you watch Christmas movies, and I mean, there's so many out there, so you'd watch a Christmas movie a night. So
It's a Wonderful Life is good too. That's my fourth.
yes.
I would pull it into the top three if Nightmare Before Christmas.
Or we could extend it to a top five, But for me, I've watched Home Alone about 10 times already because my boy.
Okay.
And Polar Express is on unlimited repeat right now. So
that's another good one.
Yeah.
Let's keep this top five theme.
Okay, let's do it.
Top five theme, but we're gonna shift it to TST, the soccer tournament.
Yep.
June 5 to 10 in Cary, North Carolina at Wakebed Soccer Park.
Be there.
The question for you. All right.
Yes.
You played at Stoke, played around the world, played in the MLS. Give me your top five clubs that you'd like to see come into the fold this year for TST and have representation.
Well, definitely Stoke City, mate. You know what I mean? But we got some of the Stoke lads together, so we're good. Definitely could do. I'd like an Arsenal. I grew up watching them. Get Van Persie back out there so I can kick him a few more times, Man City would be great. Barcelona.
You got one more.
Unless Messi took all the other players and down in Miami, which is good shout. But get some of those ballers, and then for me, get the I could do like a Real Madrid, the Galacticos. Those were ballers. So I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, ooh, Zidane, baller.
No Houston?
Nah, no Houston. Nah. If Dom Kinnear was the manager there, then I'd be like, yeah, 100%, No Houston. But for the girls, yeah, I'd definitely say, hey, they should put a team in for sure. More of a chance to win it, They got a pretty good setup there for the women's team and the dash. But going back to it, I would say, yeah, imagine like having a El Clasico at TST with Barcelona and Real Madrid facing off. That would be sick. And then you could do like
very sick.
So see, hey, TST, I'm thinking, just throwing my idea out there.
That would be very cool.
You know?
Would you want to play those teams, or would you want them to be
Fuck yeah, I
far
would.
away from you?
Hell yeah, I would. Yeah, I mean, for me, it's like I played against some of those guys like before, but I would love to do that again. Like, come on. And the guys I didn't get a chance to play against, it would be cool. It would be super, super special. But then it'd be like the Juventus of Trezeguet, Del Piero, Paulo Nedved, Edgar Davids, like Cannavaro, like you have all these guys like throwing their old, because I just saw them do a FIFA thing. They did like the old generation came back and played, and you see some of the videos and they still got it, man. Maybe they not be able to do it for like, the high intensity, which is this, but like it would still be like cool because everybody would just be in absolute awe of their ability. So, but that would be fucking badass, dude.
Yeah. Well, then give me your five guys that pretend you're not involved as a player in
That I
TST.
would want to see.
Yeah, you're coming as a fan. What would be?
Oh,
Give me five guys
Zidane.
that would convince you to buy an all session pass to TST.
An all session pass. Okay, you got like Ronaldinho. You have Zinedine Zidane. Who else? That would be cool. Van Persie. You got Figo, Luis Figo. You got Roberto Carlos, the original, the OG Ronaldo, number 9. I think it would just be cool, man. Like just to see them play again. And is that more? Did I miss any?
That was five, but you can keep talking about other people. Go ahead.
I mean, shit. I'm just looking. Yeah, I just look at the game of like, if anybody wants watch the most incredible game where you see a player that was just on a whole different level, and I highly recommend anybody to watch this game. It was Brazil versus France when Zidane was wearing the gold Predators. And I'm telling you, he pissed the game. It was like effortlessly, like just getting around the pitch, and he did what he did. And he did it like in style against the Brazilians, who are the ones that have that style, right? That flair. And dude, it was, for me, it was like I had the ability to watch him and play live, and I was just like, wow. Like he was just on a different planet, for me at least. But then you could throw the Italian guy, De Rossi. You could throw Totti in there. Like there could be some. Maybe what if we did another thing of like ex-national team players you play against, like see how fit they are now. Here we go. Because us Americans, we stay fit, we stay strong, right? So we do throwbacks. Play like Italy versus the US. England versus the US, or you have like England ex-national team players, US ex-national team players, do a different or separate one. What? These are just ideas, guys. I'm just throwing it out there.
Well, let's keep you in the ideas world.
Yep.
So last year there were some new rules introduced to the soccer world with TSC.
Target time.
Target score time.
I love it.
There were some thoughts about, changes that could be made. Let's just say everything stays 100% the same with the rules. So we're not removing any rules. What other rules would you add to the 7v7 game that you think would make it a little cooler or a little more exciting?
Ooh. That could be more exciting. That's a tough one. Dude, you threw me there. Threw me for a loop there. We got my thinking
Well,
cap
like you said to Heather, the MLS penalty kicks where the goalie runs
that's
out.
That's right, yeah. I mean, that could be like, if you go to...
You could replace the penalty kicks that during the game with the MLS style.
With the old MLS style, like it's a breakaway. And they have to start at like halfway line. And then they have to dribble all the way up. Like, I mean, the pitch is big, but it's not like a full-on sprint. Or whatever we could figure out the distance between where they started. But yeah, I think that would be cool. Like that would be entertaining. Because we don't follow FIFA regulations, so it's fine. It's okay. Neither does the MLS, right? So we can make our own rules up and we can adapt and we can be creative. So I think we could definitely throw you know, the penalty kicks. Ooh, trying to think. There could be some other rules where I think maybe there's a limitation on how often you can change.
A subbing
So
restriction.
so there could be some restrictions where, some of these indoor teams they change every 2 minutes but that's more catered to their style. What if we cater to more of the football style, where the soccer style, where it's like you got to be a little bit fitter,
Yeah.
maintain that high intensity, right? So you have to go, if you can't sub every 2 minutes, but you can sub maybe 3 times or 4 times in the first half. And then you can sub 3 or 4 times in the second half. So then it's like you're seeing more of the players play consistently and there's a small rotation.
I think one of the big benefits to the subbing is, for example, let's say you tweak an ankle and there's only one substitution left in this scenario, but it's early in the second half. You're probably going to want to get taped up, but then you're not going to be able to get back in there. So the rolling subs helps. Maybe
Agreed.
you get hit, you need to sit down for a minute. Maybe I got to get my ankle
But
taped. I got
that's
to do
but
this.
that's but that's where having the structure and having like, all right, you have to think, okay, you don't need to change 2 minutes into the first half. You might change 12 minutes in the first half. And you can change as many as you want in that first period, like that first substitution. But then in the second substitution, you can change as many as you want. But
Mm-hmm.
you're limited like 4 times in that, and then you might be limited maybe 1 or 2 times in the first target time. So then it's not like every single time the ball goes out, there's a new sub, right? Like so then it just brings a little bit more of the actual like soccer game, but then you have the indoor style essentially, but it kind of brings it together a little bit. So it's kind of like you have a limit of substitutions, but you can still do your thing. And it makes other people adapt,
Yeah.
right?
You know what I
So,
think would be cool is, how every 5 minutes last year during target time, someone had to come off the field.
yep.
I think it would be cool if once that person comes off, they're done in target
Yeah.
time. So you have to be strategic with, who
Who,
you're pulling off the
who,
field.
who you're pulling off. I like that.
Teams probably did that last
Any-
year just because the nature of how fast it was. It probably
Yeah.
was tough to sub in and out during target time. Obviously, you would know better than
Yeah.
me as a player, so that maybe just happened. But looking back on last year, what would you have done differently with last year's team, last year's rules that you think could have given you guys a better chance to bring home the money?
I think honestly, I think we needed 1 or 2 more guys with we needed a little bit more depth essentially because we were a little bit thin. But if we do, we maybe subbed 1 or 2 times a half, and that was it. And it wasn't like it was only for 1 or 2 players, and that was really it. We didn't have like I think we played was it Velita, right? Is it and they were like World Cup 7v7 champions indoor or whatever. And like they were doing 4 at a time, 4 at a time, 4 at a time. And like all of a sudden, you're just like, another 4 guys, another 4 guys. We didn't really do that. And it's like getting that used to the transition, and we were kind of just defending the whole time, but we hit him with a counterattack, knowing that our experience would pay off. So I'd say like maybe getting into the better flow. And I kind of talked about to Blade and Grass guys that our best time to sub is when the ball's on their end and we're closer to the pitch. So you don't sub it in the defensive end. It's like a hockey game. You're doing the line changes. But I think just getting that down would be beneficial. Um, oh, and then I'd say just getting a few more guys in to give us more depth, because we tried to keep it thin where we're just all playing and um, more money in the pot, right? But with the amount of games and the quick turnaround, you need a depth. You need a big squad. So, um, yeah, I'd say that would be our adjustment for next time.
So last year, you guys were all business. You brought all players. Bladen Grass didn't mess around with any TikTok influencers, even though Noah Beck was, one of the best players on the Dortmund team. Didn't bring Ocho Cinco, who also was good, and we've of course talked to on the show. We talked to Heather. She said she'd love if LeBron James pulled up to TST, or
Oh,
Drew.
I would love it. I would love it, because if he played in the game, I would be this. Yep, here we go. Let's go.
Well,
Megs for days, man. Are you kidding me?
who are the celebs that you would want? Like, I know you have your guys that you grew up watching, or the guys that you liked as players, but take the soccer football player element out of it. Who
Oof.
are some guys that if you were running up and down the pitch and you looked in the cabanas and you saw them, having a cocktail, having a beer, you'd be like, oh, damn, that's pretty cool that this guy's, here soaking up the event, or this woman's out here soaking up the event.
Uh, damn, you gotta get you throw me for a loop here, man. Oof. I don't know, man. Like a celebrity. Uh, I don't know. Like if it was like a celebrity crush or something,
Ooh,
maybe.
that's a good way we could go. Ooh,
Could
you
be.
want Taylor Swift there?
No, come on. No. Come on. More, the movie Hitch. Hmm. Eva Mendes. She was one of my favorites. Um, Maybe like, I don't know. It's a tough one,
You're
man.
stumped. You're
I'm
stumped.
fucking stumped.
Over the years at the US national games, there had to be some celebs there that you were like, all right, this is cool. This is cool that so and so is here watching us play.
Yeah, but you never really paid attention to it, to be honest. You're like, are they here? And just kind of, you're so focused and you're still in that moment. You're just like, all right, just normal people. Um,
I could take this a different direction, because I'm still learning about you, Geoff Cameron. So I can ask this question, which will give me some insight. In between the two championship matches on June 10th, if there were to be a performer, a concert, a musician, who would you pick to
black black coffee.
Okay.
You have any idea who he is?
I don't. Am I going to get in trouble for that?
Yeah, he's one of the best DJs like ever. He's a goat. His sets are incredible. Just
I'll do a little Google search.
do a little Google search. There's a couple songs that I can, you know, push you towards, but it's the vibe. Nice little chilling. Get an Aperol spritz out.
From Como.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. From Como, they come over with the Aperol. It's all right.
Wait, did you see that Cesc Fabregas has Como like shooting up the standings of their league as manager? They were struggling all season. They made a managerial change. Now coach Cesc Fabregas is in there for Como. We had a chance to see him, coaching and managing games last year. Are you surprised when you see former players doing a good job managing, or is that really the only option now? Like where do you lie when it
No,
comes to that?
I think he was in a structure and a system for so long with Arsene Wenger, and the clubs that he's been at Chelsea to Barcelona, Arsenal. Like, I mean, three massive clubs, and so saying, like, his experience, his pedigree, and understanding the game, and some players, it's hard for them to, because they're thinking on so many different levels, and they can think of like 7 to 8 to 10 different phases of play in with one pass of where things can go, and sometimes it's hard for them to relate and dumb it down for their players and their team. But I think the structure that he's gone through, and a lot of players that they have a good understanding, and they've been in the shit, they've been in tough moments, and they can be people can relate to them. Players want to relate to those guys because the managers that I've played for, most of the managers that I've really enjoyed playing for, or players that are managers that played the game, and they know how hard it is. They also understand the graft, the mental aspect of it, and um, you're like, yeah, I'll run through a brick wall for you. Like it's just, and you have that relationship with a player because they're like, yeah, he's a grafter, he puts a hard work in, but he understands it. He can understand it from your perspective. Where some coaches that don't have that never played at the highest level, or I mean, there's some managers that are top managers in the world, but for me, for players, they have that better understanding because they can relate to it. Um, and I think Fabregas has done a fantastic job, and look at what he's doing now. So kudos to him. Are they coming back to TST though?
We are not at liberty to answer that at the moment, but they were a lot.
Fair.
They were a lot of fun last year. We talked
Yeah.
with Heather that she was partying with their fans.
Yeah.
They would bring their fans back, I'm sure. I'm expecting most returning teams, the ones that do come back to TST this year, to have more fans than they had last year. I mean, I think even Blade and Grass developed some fans that they may not have had throughout the
Because
tournament.
our merch was sick.
Yeah.
I mean, we were like, I don't know, the dark horse, man.
The
It's
Grim
like
Reaper.
dude, that's right. We're the Grim Reapers. Yeah, 100%. But it was like kind of like everybody was like, we just kind of was off on our own, didn't have our gear, didn't have our kits, and it was just like, yeah, just whatever. And then no one really knew what to expect after that first game. It was crazy. Like you going into that game, it was like, what am I doing here? And then all of a sudden, it was after the first game, okay, we gotta make some adjustments, and you gotta do this and do that. So for me, I think we want to go in the same way. Like people are not going to expect us, but that's okay. That's all right.
I feel like you are probably a guy that thrives off of quote unquote road environments when the fans are,
Against you?
against you.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
would you like to play in a couple TST matches this summer where you're playing against a crowd?
Yeah, hell yeah. I mean, for me, that just jacks me up. Trust me, when you got my first year in the Prem, I was like, I forget where I was playing. I think it was Liverpool away. And you got a 4 or 5 year old kid going, do one, you American Yank. And you're like 5 years old sitting with your father. And it's just like, all right, cool. Like, you don't hear it, you just block it off, but you can feel the buzz around you. And it just kind of pumps you up. Um, Fans will either love you or hate you. You just got to deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
But either way, uh, just the vibe and the way the games went, each game, whether you're on the backfield or the front pitch, they're the same. It was like same intensity. The fans were there. They could hear the little nitty gritty stuff that people are saying on the field. And it's all relative. Like it's not bad, but it's like the communication. You're telling a player, get stuck in or whatever. Those little things that maybe you don't really necessarily hear at a professional game because there's so much noise around you. But yeah, man, it was a blast. And we're here to next year. We're gonna turn some heads. I hope.
Well, I obviously am hopeful that we'll see Blade and Grass back in because we have this show, of course, but we will see what happens. But moving on beyond, the field of 48, the people you want to see, the teams you want to see, we got the women's tournament that we announced. Let's go women's clubs briefly, quick rapid fire that you think would be able to win TST on the women's side.
I mean, if I'm any college or a group of girls that say like put a team in, do it. There's 8 teams. You have a way better chance of winning $1 million than a men's team. And we're playing 48. Your road to $1 million is significantly shorter. So I suggest for all the college teams and all the professional teams that are out there for a women's, put a squad together and go in and just say, hey, we're going to do this. And who cares if you're going to go against Heather O'Reilly and her crew? That's where you want to play against, right? You want to play against them and the World Cup winners and all that. So it's a great opportunity for you to do it. And for the young girls out there that are in college and whatever, this is a good chance to make some good money pretty quickly. Pretty quickly.
And it's going to be exciting on that final day, June 10th, with June 10th in Cary, North Carolina. 2 championship matches, $2 million checks, $2 million handed out. How fun do you think that day will be for a fan to be able to go and watch the $2 million, 2 different $1 million championship matches?
Yeah. I think it's going to be, I don't think that's ever been done, right? So I think that's pretty badass. And they have to pay for a double seater, by the way. They can't just, you have to walk out and then come back in, right? But no, I think how awesome would that be? You're seeing 2 championship games, 2 finals, probably 2 different levels of intensity and like pace, but you'll see the care and the pride and the love that each group has for the game and what they're willing to do to get the $1 million. Shit, Steven Ireland played with a broken toe for the first game when he got it, and he played the rest of the tournament. So
he probably used that toe more after he broke.
Yeah, it's just like, but it shows you like that's the mentality. It was like I remember he was walking in looking for the physio or like the doctor. He's like, "Hey, can you just numb it up for me?" And the guy was like, "We can't do that." I was like, yeah, you can." Like more of just like that's what you would do. Like you don't want to miss a game. Do what you got to do. So, and I'm not saying that's the right thing, but that's how much guys care about like the game. And this is and women, like they want to win. When it's the competition and that's what all you've known for your entire career, this is just like every single day.
Well, it's going to be an exciting year. We're going to have a lot of exciting guests joining us in the Sevens Club over the next few months, up to TST, during TST, after TST. But we had to do a little Cameron Q&A to get us going. We'll be back very soon with some more big time guests. Geoff, anything else you want to get out?
Stay tuned. Follow, like, and most importantly, get yourself to North Carolina, Cary, North Carolina, June
5 to 10 at Wakeman Soccer Park.
I was setting it up perfect for you. You've got a perfect voice for a podcast.
Thank you, Mr. Cameron.